Hi everyone, and welcome to the Bear Necessities. I am Bear, and today we are making soap. I kid. We're actually making lemon lavender cookies. They're a sugar cookie. It's a cutout cookie, so that's nice. They do have lavender in them, but it's just a little bit to give them this lovely soft lavender flavor. You have to be real careful with it. You have to be kind of conservative with the lavender in this. Otherwise, you do run into the problem of it smelling and probably tasting a lot like, you know, those little soaps you weren't allowed to touch when you were a kid in like your grandmother's house? They were shaped like seashells or roses or something, and they always smelled like flowers. Those. It'll taste like those. Not that I know what they taste like. Anyway, avoiding my childhood issues. So to get started, you are not heating your hot box yet because these are a sugar cookie and they are cutout cookie. They're going to have to chill for quite a while, and there's going to be 2 stages of chilling. So just letting you know now, these are not a super quick cookie. They're about maybe 3.5 hours tops. So warning. However, to get started, we have, let me just pull everything out here. We have 2 cups and about 2 tablespoons of flour. This is just all-purpose flour, nothing special. I actually added, I went up to about 2¼ cup, so just like another tablespoon or so, not much. We have 1 full teaspoon of vanilla. In here, I have 3/4 cup of sugar. I used monk fruit, of course, because that's what I've been using mostly. And then I also have the zest of 4 lemons. The recipe only calls for the zest of 1, so I like lemon flavor a lot, and which is why I went up on the flour a little bit, just kind of make up for it, because it's also had a little bit extra lemon juice in it. You also need a tablespoon of lemon juice. And I have those mixed together just to help the monk fruit kind of hydrate a little bit, because I'm finding that is one of the issues with it, you know, not doing the cookie thing really well. So learning things for myself that I can pass on to you. So the lemon zest, lemon juice, and the 3/4 cup of sweetener are in here. Then I have 3/4 cup of very soft butter. We want it very soft for now because we are going to chill it twice, and so it doesn't matter right now, but we want it to be able to really mix in and be like really well put together. We have 1 whole egg, and then in here I have a teaspoon of baking powder and then a teaspoon of salt. The regular recipe only calls for about 1/2 teaspoon. I, as you've learned, like that little bit extra salt, and it helps with the lavender flavor. It kind of boosts it without making it, you know, biting into a bouquet. So just a little extra salt. And finally, we have our lavender. Now, I bought some lavender flowers, and the last time I made these, I actually left the flowers whole because it was really pretty. I didn't like chewing on them, so that was unpleasant. And instead, we got a teaspoon of lavender flowers out of that, and then I ground them up in my mortar and pestle until they were kind of powdery, and broke off a lot, like got a lot of the stamen and everything that was on the inside out, which is the part that I didn't like chewing on. And then I sifted it. So it's a little extra fussy. You don't have to do that. You can leave them whole, especially if they're fairly fresh. There's my still roughly maybe 3/4 teaspoon of lavender, but because it again was run through my mortar and pestle, it's released a huge amount of the oils. So these might still be super pungent lavender cookies. We're gonna find out together, aren't we? Yay, kitchen experimentation. So let's get started with it. To get started, we're going to go ahead and take our flour. Yeah, I know, we're not quite doing a cream method on these. And we're going to get our leavening and salt, so our baking powder and our salt, and we're going to get these mixed together. And so I'm just stirring them together, nothing crazy. I do want to say something here. I gave myself a gift and bought some Danish dough whisks. These apparently you can make actual like really hard bread doughs and everything with, and they mix really well. So I got that. I'm going to try it on this because it is going to be a stiffer dough, and so we'll get a live review. This is very thoroughly mixed. Next, we're going to add our lemon zest, lemon juice, and our monk fruit, even though you'll be possibly using sugar or some other sugar alternative. And you don't have to mix them all together. Again, I did just to help the monk fruit kind of hydrate. You don't have to do that. If you do, your sugar will melt a bit, and so it'll be easier to mix in. Okay. And y'all know my love of lemon, which is why I used so many lemon zests. And I saved the juice for myself because I like just, you know, fresh lemonade and things. So, yum. Nothing went to waste. And their skins went down my sink to clean the disposal. Yay! Next, we're going to add our butter. And like I said, this is very soft butter. Oh, that's nice. That's good. Oh man. So this gets into all the corners. That's fantastic. We're going to add our egg before we mix our butter in because it is so soft. And our vanilla. And let's get all of that mixed together. I'm going to keep mixing this until it's together. I will fast forward you through it so you're not just bored out of your mind. See you back in just a few seconds. Okay, so because I added just that little extra flour to make up for all the extra that I did, I didn't increase the amount of lemon juice that I put in. Oops. And I can't remember if I told you how much. It's a tablespoon. So I'm going to go ahead and add about another tablespoon to this before I continue. Let me grab, ooh, so loud. Let me grab my lemon juice. Like I said, I saved it back. They're very juicy lemons. And a measuring spoon. And let's keep mixing. All right, so I've gotten it mixed fairly well, and now it's beginning to hold together. It looked really crumbly with the dough whisk because the dough whisk was doing its job and making me think otherwise. So, and I'm not going to knead this too much. I'm actually just rolling it together. I'm not kneading the dough. But here we have our cookie dough. And what I'm going to do from here, other than sniff the living bejeebers out of it because, oh my gosh, there's just so much lemon goodness in this, is I'm going to let this chill. I'm going to cover it in plastic, let this chill in my fridge for about an hour to maybe 2 hours, depending on how solidly it sets up. But before I do that, let's go ahead and split the dough, because I said I was going to. And I'm going to do half with lemon, just lemon. And what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of the lavender, so I won't be using the entire amount, and I'm going to mix it with some sugar, or monk fruit, and a teeny tiny bit of lemon juice, and make it into kind of a crumble, and then I'm going to put that over the tops of the cookies before I bake them. Then the other half, I'm going to go ahead and get lavender mixed in. So I kept a little bit of that. Ooh, there we are. There's grandmother's bathroom. But if you are buying lavender for this purpose, there we go. That's lovely. Okay. And it's not too much. It's not overkill, which is nice. If you are buying lavender for it, make sure it says food grade. Don't just get one of those, like the baggies that you like put with your socks or whatever. Like, make sure it's food grade. And there we go. So we have our lavender and we have our lemon. I'm going to wrap these and get them in the fridge. And I'll see y'all back in just a few seconds. All right, so I'm back. It's been about 2.5 hours. I decided to go on a nice long walk. Let me tell you, that was lovely. It's an actual delightful night. So let's continue. Let's see. I should have told you, whenever you're getting ready to refrigerate your dough, if you split it like I did, you're gonna want to mark which one's which I did. And so I just pressed in LV for, lavender, and then an L for lemon. But whatever works for you. Some people just do like 1 knuckle, then 2 knuckles. And that's also really good if you're doing like puff pastry or something to tell which level, like how many turns and everything you've done. So we're gonna start with the lemon. Actually, let's start with the lavender. I have 2 cutters. I pulled out a couple of different cookie cutters. I have a whole bunch of like holiday ones and stuff, and this is being recorded just a few days before Christmas, but we don't really do Christmas in my house, so like Hanukkah already ended, so so instead, to be a complete stereotype, and it's all about me and my name, I have a whole bunch of little bear cutters. Like this one's a polar bear, bear walking, giant teddy bear. I know you can't really see these. Then I have this like kind of modern, very round bear. I have a little bear paw, and then I have a tiny teddy bear. I decided I wanted to keep these kind of even, but I wanted to have something that kind of let me know which ones were which. And so I'm going to use one cutter for the lemon, 1 cutter for the lavender. And even though they'll both have lavender with them, the lemon has lavender on top, and then the lavender is obviously inside the lavender cookie. And so I'm just going to use these 2, so the little round bear and then the little polar bear or grizzly or whatever you want. Y'all get to choose. I don't mind. Straighten that one out. Straighten out a bear. That's funny. Let's start with the lemon lavender. Oh my lord, that smells so good. And there's just a hint of lavender to it, which is exactly what I wanted, because again, I didn't want it to be overkill, completely. Let me grab some flour. All right, let's just add a little flour. You don't need to add too much, because this is a fairly stiff dough. Thank you, oven. It's now preheated, which, by the way, you should be doing too. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we'll continue. I'm just going to roll my cookie dough out to about, I'm gonna say centimeter. So maybe about 1/3 of an inch. I know that's such a random number, slightly less than 1/2 inch. Let's just go with that. I want them a tiny bit on the thick side. These cookies shouldn't spread too much, especially with the amount of cooling we're going to put them through. But just in case, I want them to be a little bit thicker so that we have that nice shortbread sugar cookie texture to them. That is so lovely and delightful. And of course, this is a small batch. It only makes, if you're making round cut cookies, like 2-inch rounds, it makes about 24 cookies. So really, this doesn't make a huge amount. Let's see. And that's pretty much perfect. And like I said, we're going to let this rest a little bit more before we do anything else. It's only for a couple of minutes though, I promise. That one's just to make sure that these firm back up before we bake them. That way they hold their shape as we start the baking process. And so I'm going to use the little polar bear, the not modern one, to do the lemon lavender. I'm just going to pop them onto baking sheets that I have over here to the side. You can kind of see that. So I'm going to cut these out and I'll be right back. All right, so there's the lemon lavender. lavender mixed in. So again, we did the grizzly bear. I need y'all to remember that for me because I won't. All right, next we are going to do the lemon. Oh, that is like lemonade cookie. Oh, happy bear. I did not close that drawer. So rude of me. All right, just a little bit of flour on this one as well. It doesn't take much because of the amount of butter in this. It's not likely to stick. Roll it out to the same thickness as the other dough. And this cookie cutter is a bit larger, so we're not gonna get as many out of it. I'm guessing 7, maybe 8. Yeah, these are much larger bears. Being like Papa Bear size bears. So let's recombine the dough. And while I'm finishing that, I'm gonna go ahead and pop these into the fridge just to already start getting solid. And again, your oven should be preheating to 350 degrees right now. Okay, pressing all that together. Roll it out slightly. I might be able to get one more of these bears out of this without it being too thin. Or I might just have to go ahead and do the round with this one too. Let's find out. Next on Bare Necessities. Oh, just barely. Hey. So there we go. And so we actually got 6 out of this batch. It's cool. Now, let's just take this one so that I can make a little round, because I'm not gonna lie, the lemon ones are going to be my favorite already, I can tell you. Just because they just smell so good. I love lemon. I think I've told you that a couple million times, but I really love lemon. Just to flatten it out. There we go. And one for moi. And before I put this one into the fridge, let's just move everything out of the way. And I don't need you. I'm gonna go ahead, and what I did was I mixed some sugar, monk fruit for me, and the lavender. And what I did first was I took the lavender that I had left over and I mixed it in with about a tablespoon of lemon juice, and I let that steep. So you actually get kind of a lavender color sugar from it. And then I just added about just under 1/3 of a cup of the monk fruit for me, and which is what I would shoot for with you too on regular sugar, like granulated or caster, whatever you're using. And then I just let it sit out uncovered, just kind of get a chance to really mingle and become lovely scented, flavorful sugar. And I'm just going to give these little bears not a huge coating, but a decent coating. Now I'm going to let these also sit in the fridge, and I'm going to let them sit for about 10 minutes. If you've just started preheating your oven, it should give you just enough time to preheat your oven, and then we're going to bake. And I'm going to bake these for about 7 minutes, and then I'm going to change them top to bottom. So like switch them in my oven and then turn them around, because again, I know my oven, you need to learn yours. And I'm going to continue baking them for about 7 to maybe 8 minutes, just until the outsides are golden and the inside is just slightly set. So you know how like when you're baking a cookie and it almost looks liquidy? We need a teeny tiny bit past that. I'll show you. But let's get these chilled, and when I come back, these will be baked and we will finish them off. See you in a bit. Okay, y'all. So we are back. Cookies baked for exactly 15 minutes. So I did 7 and then 8 minutes, and they came out perfect. They're a little brown on the bottom, and they have a nice set crust on them, but they're still super soft, light, and a little fluffy from the leavening that we put in there. And so we have our lemon lavender cookies and these, and then we have our lemon cookies. Remember the shapes? Haha. And I went ahead and made a little bit of a lemon glaze to go on the lemon lavender. So I took just like 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, about 1/3 of a cup of powdered sugar, and just a pinch of salt, mixed it together so it was a thicker paste, and then I used it to decorate these cookies. And it will dry and set into that nice crunchy glaze. And then we have the ones that we put the lavender lemon sugar sprinkle on, and as you see, it melted on and it made a candy crust. So these will have a nice crunch to them as well, with just a hint of lavender. Like, I can smell it, but really, I really smell, and now my mouth is watering, is the very powerful lemon that is in this. I'm super duper excited. So let's taste the lemon. Y'all, it's so good. I'm so happy. So this is perfect for me. It has a little bit of a chew, that soft center. It's a little bit like a shortbread without the crunch and without the grain. And of course I made one of the lemon lavender for me. And in the glaze on this, there's just a hint of the lemon and the lavender in it. So it just gives this slight floral note. That is really lovely. Because the lavender, again, you want to go a little sparing on. Honestly, I could have probably done about 1.5 teaspoons total for everything and gotten away with it, but not more than that. Yeah, the lavender in this is perfect. You get this smooth, sweet floral with just a little bit of lemon, not quite tart enough to lock your jaw, but a little bit of tartness to it, and the glaze helps with that too. But it's fresh, it's soft, it's really good. Not overly sweet either, which is really nice for me, but they're very buttery. So awesome, because your boy likes butter. I'm happy with these. And I hope you enjoy making these as much as I just did. This was fun for me. It's been years since I've made lavender cookies of any sort. Another that I do is a blueberry lavender muffin. We may eventually touch that one. I don't know yet. We've already done like the lemon blueberry, and you know, you can't pass perfection. But try these out. See what you think. Add a little bit of floral goodness to your life. You never know what you might think. As you saw, it doesn't take much. And lavender can be used in so many other things. So get to experimenting. Have some fun with it. And as always, make it yours. The kitchen is a place to play. It's a place to learn. It's a place to get comfortable and make wild decisions sometimes. So get wild. Get a little crazy. Try some lavender. And until I see you again, bye.